What's up guys, Dan here. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm currently in the Philippines right now, and I wanted to make this video for you guys talking about self-image. And I've discovered this very important concept when I actually read a book that absolutely changed my life earlier this year, and it was called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And so in that book, he actually talked about self-image, and he was the very first, he's actually like the father of self-improvement, next to Napoleon Hill, I would say. And before I read that book, I actually never heard of the concept, and I never understood it. And so pretty much how it works is that every single one of us out there, our lives are the direct result of our self-image, right? So if we kind of have a negative self-image of ourselves, then we don't live an abundant life, we don't live the life that we want to live. We're stuck in life, maybe we're stuck in a 9-to-5 job, or we're just not doing the things we want to do to be living a great life. So a little bit about Psycho-Cybernetics, and I highly recommend you guys go and read this book because it is absolutely insane. It's mind-blowing. And a lot of multimillionaires and billionaires have actually been quoted saying that Psycho-Cybernetics was one of the best books they've read because of the concept of self-image, because they were introduced to the concept, right? And so how it matters and why it matters for you is if you're out there, right, and if you're not in a place where you want to be in life, if you're stuck in a 9-to-5 job, you don't have enough money to be living and doing the things you want to do, and you don't like your job, and pretty much, let's say, you want to kind of live the passive income lifestyle, doing what you love and also finding your life purpose, you have to develop an accurate self-image of yourself. So if you look at the book, a very important concept is that Maxwell Maltz was actually a plastic surgeon, and he realized that on his patients that he operated on, he realized that pretty much like someone would come in there and then they would think that they had like a, something wrong with their nose, for example, right? Like they had like a crooked nose, they would think. But in reality, it was totally normal and nobody actually ever noticed it. But in their heads, right, their whole life was affected because they thought they had a crooked nose. And so when they came in for surgery, Maxwell Maltz, the plastic surgeon, and he was like a very famous plastic surgeon in the United States. And when he operated on these patients that thought they had a problem when they actually didn't have a problem, what happened was when he actually did the operation and he quote unquote fixed their nose, for example, their whole life changed. And suddenly they went from having a bad life, or in their minds it was a bad life, they went from a bad life to a life of abundance, to doing the things that they love to do, to having a renewed sense of confidence in themselves. They went from having a bad life to living a great life just because their plastic surgeon fixed the issue that they thought they had. And so what he realized, he had like this epic realization in his head. He realized that like, hey, what if I could actually change someone's self-image, without actually, without like doing an operation. And so that's why he wrote the book called Psycho-Cybernetics, because he realized there was actually nothing wrong with these patients that thought they had something wrong with them, right? It was just their self-image. They've created this false self-image of themselves. For example, the person with the crooked nose, they had this inaccurate self-image where, they had a crooked nose, therefore they can't achieve success, they can't be rich, they can't be happy, they can't kind of like find a great partner for themselves. And so, he realized that. And if I remember correctly, he actually started like sitting down with patients and he was doing like different exercises with them to try to change their self-image without the actual operation, because he knew there was nothing physically wrong with them. So that's why if we take the message from Maxwell Maltz from Psycho-Cybernetics, right, if we take that message and if we apply it to our own lives, how do we do that? So for example, you need to decide what you want in life first and foremost, right? So if you want to, go and you want to make $10,000 a month, you want to travel the world, for example, or you want to have a profitable online business, you want to achieve success in your life, you want to find a great partner, right? Well, you're going to need to develop a self-image that's going to be accurate to what you want, right? Because most likely if you haven't achieved those things, then your self-image isn't accurate to that, those desires, right? So it all starts simply in your head. Just start believing that there's nothing, between you and what you want, right? Because there really like isn't. And all the things that you worry about, 99% of those things, or 99.9% of those things don't actually exist, right? Because we constantly make up these like mental movies in our head and these mental images, and all the worries that we have, they don't actually exist, they're not real. So 2 years ago, when I was trying to figure out my way in life, when I was completely broke and I wasn't traveling the world, I wasn't fortunate enough to be in literally like the most beautiful place in the world right now in the Philippines, for example, right? I didn't understand the concept of self-image, and I definitely had a negative self-image in my head of myself, and it wasn't accurate to who I actually was, right? And so when I found out about this concept of self-image, I actually sat down and I reviewed the things that I wanted to do, right? If you guys watch the other videos on this channel, you guys know that I set 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year goals. And so I highly recommend you do the same. And what you do is you need to sit down and you need to look at those goals, and you need to develop an accurate self-image that will take you towards those goals. And by sitting down and doing that, you're actually going to accelerate your way towards your goals and dreams much faster, right? And it's going to be natural to have all of these limiting beliefs pop up in your head. But like I said, all of those things are made up, right? So, until you're like physically prevented from actually getting to a goal, like physically, right? Because no one's actually preventing you, right? It's only yourself in your head. then everything else is made up in your head. So that's what you have to understand. So as an example, because my YouTube channel is based around online business, entrepreneurship, finding your life purpose, making money while traveling, having financial freedom, right? You need to sit down, and if your goal is financial freedom, if your goal is any one of these things, let's just say, for example, you want to hit $10,000 a month, with your online business, well then you need to develop a self-image of the person, right? For example, if your name is, let's just say your name is Steve, right? Or Susan, right? So you need to imagine yourself as the Susan who's making $10,000 a month from her online business, right? Or the Steve is making $10,000 a month from his online business, right? And if you do that, right, first of all, and you have no limiting beliefs, and you constantly visualize that image of yourself having achieved that goal, right? And also what really helps is writing down your goals every single morning, every single night. At least do it every single morning. I've been doing it for years, and every single thing I've written down in my goals has actually come true. So I highly recommend you guys do that as well, because it's worked amazingly for me to bring massive abundance into my life, to bring happiness, to bring amazing people into my life. And these are just a few of the things that have been possible for me in my life because of me writing my goals down and also aligning my self-image with the person who I want to become. So now moving forward, every single time I'm just like thinking, right? And like let's just say I'm walking on the beach or I'm swimming or something like that, right? I'm always visualizing, Dan with the self-image of the person who I'm trying to become. And up until this point, every single goal that I've crushed, that I've achieved, right, it was because I've aligned my self-image with the person who I wanted to become. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are into online business, entrepreneurship, self-improvement, right? These mindset videos, you guys know, are incredibly important, because if you don't have this mindset, if you don't understand this concept of self-image, you won't have the self-image of a successful person, right, of the best person you can be, and you're just gonna, continue to self-sabotage yourself, right, and you're just gonna delay the time it's gonna take to actually be living the life you were meant to live. So subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Snapchat. We're gonna be posting a vlog right here from this Philippines trip. It's gonna be epic, so you guys can go and watch that as well. It's probably gonna be up on the channel by the time you watch this. So once again, thank you. See ya.